Everyone in Estonia knows Lagle Parek. The energetic former civil rights activist spent years in prison under Soviet rule. She was jailed for trying to maintain the Estonian language, culture, and identity. Following independence, she became Estonia's first interior minister. Today, she lives in a monastery that was rebuilt thanks to her initiative.
I
never forgot it, that feeling of occupation by the Russians. That feeling of danger is continuously ticking in the Estonians, and not just in the Estonians. The events in Georgia right now show that small countries are right to be afraid of big ones.
Estonia is firmly anchored in the European Union and NATO, yet mistrust of Russia continues to be strong.
They always said it's just an accident, not policy. That kind of thing can happen, and so on. And Europe did nothing, and that's the biggest mistake with Russia, because if Russia sees nothing being done, then it will take advantage. That's a reality.
The last dispute between Russia and Estonia was a year ago. A Second World War monument to Soviet soldiers still stood in central Tallinn, to the annoyance of many Estonians. They do not see the Russians as liberators from the Nazis, but as the occupiers of Estonia. The monument was moved to a military cemetery outside the city. Moscow protested strongly and retaliated immediately. The port of Tallinn was hardest hit. Ferry travel with Finland and Sweden is booming, but freight trade with Russia has fallen dramatically since last year.
In cargo side, we as a transit port are extremely dependent, because about 80–85% of our goods going through the port is a transit cargo, and they're mostly coming from, well, not only Russia, but from the east, let's say Kazakhstan and other countries also. But definitely, yes, our biggest commodity has been so far oil and oil products, also coal, and we have served as a transit gate for many, many years.
Oil shipments are down 16%. Coal deliveries have plunged by 97%. Moscow says the decline is due to problems with the Russian rail system. Overall, the Estonian economy estimates it suffered losses of almost €500 million last year. Russia has also withdrawn from a border treaty that took years to negotiate, and now comes the war with Georgia, which represents a new threat for the Estonians.
The conflict between Georgia and Russia makes people in Estonia quite worried, particularly because the Russian president, in justifying Russian troops moving into Georgia, claimed that Russia was defending its citizens and has a constitutional duty to do so.
Almost 1/3 of the population of Estonia is Russian. That's a lot more than in Georgia. In Tallinn, most Russians live in large high-rise projects on the city's edge. Efforts to boost integration have not shown much progress.
I think the Georgians are to blame. All Russia did was defend its fellow citizens.
It's not the Russians' fault. The Americans are to blame.
But the Estonians see things differently. They've made urgent calls for Europe and NATO to act.
We have to make a decision. It's clear it can't continue like this. For us to look on without saying anything, that's dangerous. I think Europe needs to understand that kind of policy is dangerous for us.
Everyone has understood. If they can just enter Georgia, how long will it be until they take the next step? The danger is horribly great.
The Soviet Union may be history, but as far as Lagle Parek is concerned, Russia is still striving for imperial greatness.